Any wins? I'll tell you, I'm noticing more and more in the last few days. You've got a new level 2 VIP, like more and more emails coming through. And what that shows me is we're getting into that final lane of people pushing for the iPad. So it should start to get really exciting. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. Sarah, I'm going to go ahead and play the video that you arranged, and then you can recap it. So let me share my screen. All right, so this is one of, well, I would say pretty much everybody loves a scowl. Let me go ahead and X out of some of this. All right, it's Jill Renfro. I just think she's amazing, and I love her accent, and she's got the cutest little boy in the whole wide world. And Sarah got her to play or make a video for us.
Hey everyone, Jill Renfro, Diamond Ambassador. I couldn't be on live with y'all today. I have a toddler, so any of you toddler moms out there know that when your toddler is home with you, it's kind of impossible to get on the phone or the computer. He thinks if we are on the phone or computer, we are FaceTiming someone that he's got to be a part of, and it absolutely makes it impossible to talk and get a point across. I would look like some spastic something, and y'all would gain nothing out of that. So can't be on with y'all live, but I can totally just say thank you for giving me some time to share. I am so honored. I mean, like Sarah Marble, like the Sarah Marble, asked me to share with y'all, and that is just like, she's been such a mentor to me through all of my years in Plexus and since I've started. And so I'm so honored to just be a part of y'all's team for a few minutes and share some nuggets with y'all. So here we are. We're still in the beginning of the month of March. And this month of March, right, we are all of us got our eyes on an iPad 10. We're all got our eyes on an iPad 10. We're excited. We're hopeful. We're seeing all the things of convention being popped up. And we're like, we got all of the things, but they're still like I can barely get there, right? We're coming out of the seasonal winter funk, and the sun's around the corner, right? Warmer temperatures are around the corner, and we're just right there. We can barely grab it. We feel like we're so close, but yet we're still stuck in this seasonal transitional winter funk, the seasonal depression, right? And that carries over to our business, carries over to our routines, it carries over to our business, it carries over to our lifestyles, our health, all of those things. So I'm just gonna, honestly, I'm gonna be straightforward. I am going to chat with you just for a few minutes about getting out of a seasonal funk and getting into action. Action cures all. I learned that from Genevieve Scory. She's one of our CEOs. Sarah and I have had the honor to be a part of her Diamond coaching. And I love that she always brings it back to that. And it's something that I continue to hold for myself. There's a helicopter over my house, so if that's loud noise, I'm sorry. But it's something that I always bring back to myself, and it's something that I continue to share with my team over and over and over and over and over and over again. Action cures all. When we're feeling defeated in our home is cluttered, right? What do we need to do? We just got to get into cleaning mode. We have to get into action. And once we do one task, it's easier to do another. You make the bed, the laundry pile starts going down, the clothes get put away. You're like, oh, there's light at the end of the tunnel, right? We put the dishes away. We get into action. Getting into action with our health. That first week, that first month, you're like, oh God, oh God. But when we go, okay, it's getting a little bit easier to get to the gym. It's getting a little bit easier to do my workout. It's getting a little bit, okay, I'm getting really good at making these protein smoothies. I'm not forgetting my products. We start seeing the light for results. It's because action cures all. So I want you to take that over into your business. If you're feeling defeated, you are feeling like nobody wants these products, nobody wants to share, I am in a season of dryness. Here's where I first want you to reflect. Your season of dryness is going to depend on what you were doing 90 days ago. And I'm going to be very honest with you. Most people 90 days ago were stuffing their face with Christmas cookies and having one too many wassels. They were. They weren't actively sharing their business. They weren't actively inviting people to messenger events or corporate calls or getting plugged into a book call, right? We were using holidays as excuses, or things were popping up, or routines were out of whack, or you weren't sharing your products the way that you were. You weren't having those business reach outs the way that you were, right? So about 90 days ago, some things came to a creeping halt. Action kind of stopped. And then it was like, well, it'll get better. Well, it'll get better. And we just assume it's going to get better because it's the first of the year. It's going to get better because of blank. But it's only going to get better when we get into action, and that action stays consistent, and we see that first little light, and then we see that next light, and we see that next light, and we see that next light, right? Action cures all. I want you to think of football. Okay, I know it's not football season anymore, but I want you to think of football. The goal of football is to just get the ball closer down the field, to get a little bit more touch, a little bit more inches, a little bit more downs, right? The goal isn't a touchdown every time they step onto the field. The goal is to move the ball further down the field, so eventually we get that touchdown, right? I want you to think about that with your business. You're not going to get a touchdown every time you work your business. It's not boom, VIP, boom, silver promotion, boom, finally went Ruby, woo, iPad. The goal isn't going to be touchdown every time. The goal is I'm going to move the ball closer down, down the field to get closer to the ultimate touchdown. So when you work your business, how are you working your business to move a little bit further towards that long-term goal, whatever that goal is for you in the month of March, in this first quarter of the year, and for your legacy business? What is your ultimate vision, right? How are you moving it closer down the field, the ball closer down the field? So I want you to reflect on that, and then have some honest reflection of, what was I doing 90 days ago? Kind of in a seasonal rut, maybe myself. And if you were, that explains where you're at, because we are a 90-day cycle business. What we were doing 90 days ago is going to impact what we're doing today. So if you want your summer to explode, you want an on fire April, May, June. I do. I need to be in action right now in March, because what I do in March is going to determine my second quarter of the year, is going to determine my next 90 days. And if I'm feeling any bit defeated with my social media, defeated with my VIP signups, defeated with level 1 silvers, defeated with my team getting to gold, defeated with the excitement of my team, whatever is going on, here is what fixes it all. Action. Action cures all. Start posting. Start getting in action with your stories. Start getting in action with follow-up. Start getting in action with talking to new people. Start getting in action with your team. Start getting in action with events. Start getting in action with your excitement. Start getting in action with yourself. Action cures all. Okay. Right now, my team, we have got some action going on. I'm honestly standing and saying, we are not in Deadsville. We are not, because we are in action, and we are celebrating every single action that's taking place. You handed a sample of active today at the gym. We're celebrating that. That's action. You got one person into our messenger event. That's action. We're celebrating on that, right? We got one more person to turn their subscription back on. We're celebrating it. That's action. What action can you get into today that's going to propel you to do more action? That's going to move you to move that ball closer down the field, right? It's okay to take timeouts in football, right? It's okay. It's okay to take a timeout. We can't stay there for forever. It's a timeout. So if you've been in a timeout, I want you to ask yourself, how long have I been in a timeout? Like, if I just been like, check, did that, or have you got into true action where your heart is in that and your excitement is in that, and you are moving the ball closer down the field to your ultimate goal for the month, for the quarter, for your legacy business? So sum it all up today, sis. Action cures all. Have some honest reflection, and I want you to get in action. If you want more VIPs, go get in action. Go talk more people. You want more people in your messenger events? Go invite more people. Get into action. You want more moving through your social media? Get in your stories. Make a reel, right? Get into action. Share what's going on. You want your business to see some movement again? Girl, order a reset. Invite 5, 6, 7 people to do a reset with you. Have them see results. Get into action. Share those results. Get into action. Bring people together. Have a lunch and learn. Invite 4 or 5 people together to lunch, coffee. Get into action. I promise you, it will cure all. Get into action, guys.
It's so good. All right, Sarah.
So I have to tell you guys, when she sent that to me last week, it was like, oh, like it sounds so simple, right? And when we show up here on the Power Hours, that's what we do. We are getting into action. But in true Sarah Warble form, I'm going to be really vulnerable because I had gotten even into the habit of, with my actions, happy birthday, hope you're doing well, right? Just like sending my messages so I could check a box. Which, that can be a good thing. But the day that I previewed this video, I was like, you guys heard that phrase, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. I really just was convicted that I was not being super intentional with the actions that I needed to be doing. How many of you have kind of felt like you check your back office and you feel like, oh, nobody's doing anything, and you're like just kind of waiting for something to happen? I've been there a lot. When I watched this video, immediately I was like, I am sitting my butt in a chair and I am going to get into action, because she only said it like 10 times. And I started reaching out to people. I did it 2 different ways. I went to my Facebook and I just went to my friends list. And I literally just started conversations with as many people as I could, genuinely starting a conversation. Not about Plexus. It may have been, if they were a customer, it was checking in with what they were. But on ours, winning the day, one of the things says move people to the next step, or just engage, sow seeds for later. I ended up sending 32 messages in an hour. And those conversations led to, hey, I've been meaning to chat with you. Can I order a reset? Hey, I'm so glad you reached out. I never drank that sample that you gave me. Like, just genuinely, how are you doing? How is your weekend going? How's life? Getting into conversations with people. Like, it was so full. I tried to find my team chat the next day and I couldn't even find my team business builder chat because I had so many wonderful conversations happening. Well, guess what's happened since then? Have I sent another 30 messages? No. So it's the good reminder of the football field. We all want that touchdown, right? At the end of the month, we all want that touchdown, but we can't just wait until the 29th and throw one Hail Mary pass and hope that it's a 99-yard completion, right? How much better is it to move that football 10 yards every single day, so that when it comes to the end, we're on the half-yard line and we just need a quarterback sneak. Like, that's it, and we're done. We've got the month wrapped up. So listening to Jill, first of all, isn't her Texas accent just the best thing ever? And if you didn't catch it, she said her team's not in Deadsville. So that's a Jill-ism, because she has been filling her funnel and talking to people. She is one step away from sweeping the entire convention contest. She's got 2 girls killing the leaderboard with like double ranking and doing all the things. And it's because they're talking, they're sharing, they're doing shout out posts, they're doing messenger events. So what if after every play, those guys high-fived each other and sat down? That's right. And just went back to the bench, right? That's what we don't need everybody going back to the bench. Let's stay in. And I think the football analogy translates so well, because how many of us feel like we've gotten tackled by not just one person, but we're under a pile of people, and it hurts, right? We all have had those moments in our business as well. But it just reminded me that doing the happy birthdays and doing all that, that's fine. But it really is about engaging, adding value, and then moving people to whatever the next step in the conversation is. I've got one gal who had a great Plexus testimony 2 years ago, stopped taking the products because of cost. Guilty for me. I had never said, I don't want the cost of products to keep you from ordering again. Let's chat about how you can find 3 friends to do this with you to help offset the cost. See how that rolls off my tongue? Because I'm doing that now, but I didn't do that with her 2 years ago. Well, she's back on the products. She made her first post. She signed her first VIP. She's got 25 comments to work through from her first post. And I'm like, oh, this is how we do things, right? And even where I am 12 years later, I'm getting back to this, moving people to the next step takes a little bit of work. It takes a little bit of effort, but it's in pouring into the relationships. It's in pouring into the conversations. I have never sent a cold message in my life. Now, have I sent a message to somebody about Plexus when they have not asked you yet? Yes, but I never feel slimy or sleazy or salesy, because in my heart, I know that I've engaged with somebody enough to say, hey, I see you're struggling with this. Hey, I see that you're watching my stories. You may or may not be interested. It might not be for you, but if I could show you what I'm doing, would you be open to at least learning what I'm doing, how I'm working from home, how I'm earning an income to pay for all of the things for my kids? All of these things, I'm just starting the conversations. I want to encourage you, if you do not have some sort of testimony page with your team that you're funneling prospects to, or doing regular events. We just picked back up with our team doing regular messenger events, and I'm already seeing a huge return, because when you have a conversation with somebody and they say, yes, I'd like to know more, guess what? If you can say, actually, we're doing a super quick 15-minute messenger event tonight called Meet Plexus. If I send you an invite, would you want to jump on and take a look? And you have something to invite to. So we are literally going to take the next 35 or 40 minutes, go through either your back office, your friends list, whatever the case might be, and we are just going to get into action. If you have something to invite to, we always have Monday motivation for the corporate webinars for Plexus. We have the Welcome Wednesday corporate webinars that are amazing. Those are a really good thing to use if you've got something specific for your team, or Jennifer's got that amazing wellness page. It might be somebody that who's struggling with migraines. You could just say, happy Monday. I've been thinking about you. I know you've been struggling with migraines. I'm so sorry that that's a part of your story. If I added you to a place where you could read some stories about some of my friends who are benefiting from some natural products, would you be open to seeing if this is something that might help you? That doesn't sound salesy, right? It's just a conversation. It's just asking a question. So we are going to get into action. But first, I saw on here, I think it was Stephanie that posted. Okay, Stephanie said, Kim. Okay, Kim, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm going to put you on the spot. And if you say no, thank you, that's fine. Stephanie, maybe you can brag on her. On the leaderboard for top brand ambassador upgrades, not this week, but the week before. So Kim, do you want to unmute and just let us know, like, any thoughts about being specific and intentional about, hitting the leaderboard is amazing. That's a really, really cool thing.
I can. Thank you, Steph, for the shout out. I appreciate that. And thank you, Sarah. Yeah. I think people are just at a point where money matters, it's hard for everybody. So they're seeing that even if they don't want to make a big business out of it and replace their 9-to-5 job, they can use a couple $100s a month. So people are, and we've got a really great system, I think, in place for making it simple. It's duplicatable. And you have to have that so that they come to you and say, hey, I'm ready to share. What do I do? Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, boom.
That is so awesome. So awesome. Congratulations. I absolutely love that. And I did see one more question for, if you've got so many VIPs that are loving their products, I think it was Anita, but how do you get them to go to the next step? I think one of the biggest things for me this last week was just having those conversations and talking about what products they're on. What are their favorite products? Why are those their favorite products? What benefits are they seeing? As you ask those questions and get them excited about what results they're seeing, that's what happened with my gal. She was like, well, this happened. Oh my gosh, this is helping and this is helping. As she's sharing with me, she's starting to realize how much better and how amazing she's doing now that she's back on the products. And so I think that's a really exciting thing. And that just kind of can naturally transition into, if you're feeling this good and this excited about these products, do you have anybody in your life who you think could benefit from the same thing? Or just a simple shout out post. I know that you are falling in love with your products. would you be open to just giving a quick shout out saying, I'm so grateful for my friend Sarah who introduced me to these health and wellness supplements. Because of these products, I have energy like never before. Thanks so much, Sarah, and tagging me. Like one little, so if you've got somebody who's loving their products, but is super resistant to either working the business or even finding 3, just a simple shout out post like that will at least kind of plant some seeds of curiosity in their network. Stacy, did you have something you wanted to add?
So I had just mentioned that I finally got back into action. Like this is so timely for me. But I had gotten myself kind of back into action, I don't know, about a month ago. And I think Anita had maybe asked in response to me saying that, but the thing that I have done, and Carol had mentioned it on one of the calls that I led, is just that quick little message to people on my team that says, I know you're loving your products. What do you think about starting to get them paid for? I would love to help you. And then anyone who responded yes to that, I would tell them that we were going to be meeting once a week, 30 minutes. And so I have a group that meets weekly, and that's action. We have a thread that people are in. We're sharing ideas. We're celebrating each other. I'm giving them homework because I'm the retired teacher, so I call it homework. And so they are out there doing things, and then they're so excited when those things are working, and they're sharing that excitement within that thread. So if you aren't gathering people, I highly suggest that you're gathering people. And again, it doesn't have to be that they want to do this and go to the top. It just has to be that they would love to find a few friends to join them and get this done. And I know, I started this with Whitney's group, which she had talked about on here, and she had invited you all to, if that's something you wanted to do, but it's called Get Your Products Paid For. That's the first group we used the first month. So we talked about those different videos. And now we're just kind of meeting and gathering each week, but that it's action. And it's so true what she said today. And I just love that she shared that. But if you're feeling blah, or if you're feeling like nobody wants to do anything, then you have got to get people into action, and you have to get yourself into action.
Absolutely. I love that. And I think for a lot of us, one thing for me is, what does getting into action look like? What am I doing now? And is it working? And if the answer is yes, keep doing that. If you're hitting the leaderboard because your system is working, keep doing that. But if you're feeling like you've been tackled behind the line of scrimmage and you're buried under people because your activity isn't moving the needle forward, what needs to change? And I'm going to see if Stacy, I think I saw Stacy Potter. Stacy, I'm going to pick on you for a second. So for Stacy, we were chatting. Her getting into action was actually stepping out of her comfort zone. And do you mind just giving 2 seconds about what it meant to show up to a live vendor event and how that benefited you?
Yeah, I think like so many of us, we kind of been hiding behind the screen since COVID. And I actually reached out to a local lady, and she has a really cute hometown store, to see if I could do a vendor event there, because she has a Lululemon pop-up vendor event that's like there all the time. And I'm like, I'm on this, I'm going to get in there. And she actually does a pop-up vendor event once a month, every month. She's the sweetest thing. And going there just totally filled my cup, just to be in front of people, because I'm a people person. I'm a teacher too, a former teacher like Stacy. And I was around kids all day, every day, other colleagues. And to go from that to just being in this office by myself all day, I felt really isolated. And I mean, these Zooms are great, but it's still not the same as being in touch with people. And so that was amazing. I signed up the store owner as a customer that day. She's now running a business with me. So like, I can't even tell you like all the little details that God worked out for that to happen, but it's just definitely given me a new little zest for my business. It's exciting.
Yay, I just got goosebumps everywhere.
Yeah.
So
I like, just get out and go do things. I'm surprised there are lots of these pop-up vendor events everywhere by us. They're probably by you too. You just have to find them and plug in?
So it could be anything from a farmer's market to the gym having a health fair. Like, they are everywhere. Sometimes it's even free to just get a little table. I'll see if Stacy can put a little blurb in our Power Hour messenger chat with maybe even some pictures, but a lot of times it's just samples and starting conversations. I think she did a giveaway where she had name, address, or email, you know, all of that. And it's just getting in front of people in different ways. So I'm just super excited that you stepped out of your comfort zone. And I'm guilty too. I love sitting here hiding in my office. But when you get out and talk to people, or better yet, we have the Momentum Meetup is coming up in April. So that's something that you can start to share about that and planning something. Just have an open house at your house, have it at a coffee shop, whatever the case might be for something like that. So we are going to take the next 35 minutes or so, and we are just going to get into massive action. We are going to do follow-up messages. We are going to do shout out posts. We are going to do happy birthdays. We are going to invite to a testimonial page if that's what you need to do. Momentum Meetup is something that was started by the company. It is I'll have to look. I think the third week of April. It's a weekend where they send out videos and materials for leaders in their own areas to host little meetups in their area. So there will be a corporate video that you can play for your group, but a lot of people did like tasting parties or open houses, or there's some people that rented venues and had full meals and had 100 people there. It can be 3 people in your living room. It can be as much or as little as you want it to be. And that would be a great time to be able to start thinking about that for what that's going to look like, because that could be great. I know a lot of people do like VIP appreciation. Anybody who's a customer, come hang out, or you can do it for prospects, you name it. The sky is the limit. So I think the biggest thing is don't overthink things, fail forward imperfectly. Letitia, I saw that you were asking about your group. If you've got a wellness group or some kind of place where you have an audience, just jumping back in. Hey, it's the first day of spring. You know, how are you? I wanted to share with you. I'm feeling XYZ because of this. And I just wanted to, invite you on this journey with me. Or don't overthink it. And it can be as much or as little as you want it to be. You can, if you're starting something, you could just say, I'm grabbing a few friends for accountability. I would love to see how you're going with your 2023 health goals, or your 2023 wellness goals, or your 2023 life goals. Let's lock arms with a few like-minded people and all, share where we want to go this year. Any kind of, group like that, I think is wonderful, or message like that. So I will put some verbiage and some ideas in the chat. The good thing about this, you guys, is when you get into action consistently and continue doing that, it gets easier and easier and easier. Some of you are like, oh my gosh, she's going to stop talking and press mute, and I'm going to have to actually go start a conversation. And it feels terrifying to you. I see some of your faces on there, but others of us were like, this is awesome. This is my favorite. I get to go connect with 10 or 15 people that I've been meaning to connect with. And some of this is just being able to have the chance to be a friend. And somebody's going to remember that in 6 months or a year or 2 years when they're finally ready to ask you about Plexus. Last thing I wanted to say is Sonia Dudley has started a Monday night live that streams from her public Facebook page. So that's another thing. Now, full disclosure, the topic is different every time, and I don't know what exactly they cover. However, I do know that tonight is going to be Melissa Eichenhorst, and she just stepped off the Star Diamond yacht trip. And if you guys did not follow, she did she could have a documentary award for how she documented her trip with everything she did with reels and stuff like that. So I'll screenshot Sonia Dudley's profile and put it in our chat. So you guys can follow that, but that streams, it's Sonia Dudley, Helen McFadden, and Michelle Thomas, all 3 blondes and all 3 diamonds. And they've been having a guest come on every Monday. And so tonight it's going to be Melissa Eichenhorst. So I'm going to stop talking finally, and we are going to get our butts to work, get into action, meet people where they are. And remember that Jill said action cures everything. Okay, friends, we are going to wrap up. Oh, yes, hold on, John. Hashtag husband's home from work today. So he forgets how Zoom stuff works. Anyway, as we're wrapping up, I want you to remember what Jill said. What we have happening today is a result of the seeds that we planted 60 to 90 days ago. So if you feel like this little bit of anxiety for, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm going to get the iPad or whatever the case might be, I just want to give you a few key reminders. And this is something that has tremendously helped me. And just, in full disclosure, I did not get the Lulu card, and I desperately wanted it. I ended up adding 2 people. But one thing, time goals. If I am leading my conversations out of desperation for personal gain, for what I achieve, that's when it starts feeling icky. So if you can just remember kind of the servant part of, I want to help, and it's on their timeline, and know that their timeline might include years or months, right? Not just days. In that any conversation is going to be a conversation that will have fruit, whether it's because you are a friend or because you offered, a listening ear, or because they ordered some plexus from you, right? This is just in the big scheme of humanity, us showing up as amazing people who can offer health, hope, and happiness in any way, shape, or form. It is a blessing when it does come down to, yes, I would love for you to be able to do plexus with me. But when I shifted to removing that timeline that was personal for me, and it made it about them, it didn't matter on the end of the month if they said, I'm going to wait and order tomorrow. I would just say, okay, awesome. I can't wait to chat with you and get your journey started tomorrow. Knowing that that was a new convention or, contest cycle, or I could have been that one order away from me hitting my goal. Being able to show up authentically like that and make it about them, I promise you that will come back. And the seeds that we're planting and pouring today, when we have something else that comes up, maybe there'll be somebody who says they're ready down the road. So, it's just one of those things that's really helped me when I don't feel desperate for a sale, when I just feel like I'm going to give and love and serve. It all tends to work out. But just remember, if we increase our exposure and increase our activity and increase the number of conversations that we're having and increase the amount of people that we love on, then the results and the outflow of that will also increase. So, Jennifer, you have anything as you want to wrap up?
I'll tell you what, I hate sports analogies, and that was the best analogy of all time. I was like, I really do want a touchdown every single time. Like, I don't want to wait for us to have, I don't even know the words. First down. I don't know. I made that part up. It's the real thing. Okay. I don't want that. I just want it to happen. So that was super good. I'm glad we're doing these things on Monday. We're giving it all. It's like extra special Mondays. Well, I had fun. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You guys have a good rest of your week. Shout out yourselves in the chat if you guys start to get close to earning the iPad. We want to support you guys. Thanks so much. Thanks, Sarah.